Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Chuck Graham Show. I wanted to touch base on something. I think we're going to touch base on predatory lending, and I wanted to share my thoughts on that. So let's get started. Okay. Well, look, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscription button up there and that notification bell so that you can get notified to new and exciting shows. So I'm gonna get away from COVID-19 and talk a little bit about predatory lending. And I've been in the collection business probably 20 years. And it is a really, really tough business. And it's not like you're, making people happy. So I'm going to share a little bit of knowledge that I have to maybe help some of you people that are really struggling out there to pay your bills. Keep in mind that if you're in a situation to where you can't pay your credit card debt and you're out of a job and all of that, well, you can do, if you have the means to do, you can contact your credit card company. Most of your credit card companies have what's called a hardship repayment plan. And what they'll do is they'll take your credit cards and they will cancel them. And they will take and put you on like a 5-year no interest repayment. Now, the gist of all this is because they can get their principal back. They may lose their interest that's accruing on it, but as long as they get their principal back. Because most of the time, if you don't pay them, and it goes to collections, the first thing you're going to get is you're going to get some kind of settlement offer. And most of the time it's going to be for like half of what you owe. And if you end up getting sued or litigated, a lot of times they'll settle out of court with you for that too. But let's say it didn't go that far, and that you, in the next couple of months, will possibly have the means to take care of this. Just remember that if you do get on one of those payment plans, if you miss a payment, they'll take you off of it, and then you're going to end up in collections. But they will zero most of them. American Express, I think, is one that won't do it. And I would never have an American Express card. That's just my opinion. They won't work with you at all. If I know most of your credit card companies do have it, and you may have to talk to somebody above the customer service representative to get that information. Another thing is this: if you've got a loan right now that you're with a loan company or anything like that you're wanting to get deferred, and they won't defer you, but they want to refinance, you better look at that very, very closely. Because let's just say you have a $3,000 debt with them, and they want to refinance you in order to, it's not going to help your note very much, right? So that's something I would not do. You'll end up paying $3,000, $3,500 in addition to that, just trying to get that. Don't refinance those. Find a way to pay them. Don't pay them. Some people just need to go bankrupt. I mean, this is going to be the bankruptcy attorneys are going to make a mint in this time, because people are going to be going bankrupt. And look, folks, I mean, don't be ashamed. If you have to, you have to. Go bankrupt and reaffirm with the things that mean the most to you. Reaffirm with your mortgage. Reaffirm with your, like I said, the things that mean the most to you and the things that you can pay. And so, but the fact of the matter is people are they're gonna be bankrupt in this hard times that we're having here. And don't get me started on my opinion on the government taking your business from you and violating your due process rights in the guise of a pandemic. So, but that's my 2 cents on it. And and remember, if you do go bankrupt, you're going to have a automatic stay if you have a joint debtor, even if that joint debtor is not bankrupt. they're going to have a joint debtor stay. They can't go after the joint debtor until your bankruptcy is over with. So anybody co-signed with you is going to have a reprieve as well. But talk to your really good bankruptcy attorney. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. And trust me, they make a lot of money on these things. And they'll help you. And a lot of times you can get, even their fees can be added in. And if you're doing a Chapter 13 where you're trying to repay everything back, but if you have no assets, then the only thing you have is a mortgage. And if it was me, in my opinion, I would bankrupt it and reaffirm with the mortgage and automobile and let the rest of it go. I mean, it's not your, truly, this is one of those cases. There's going to be a lot of bankruptcies, and it's not going to be because of mismanagement of funds. It's going to just be that people don't have the means to be able to take care of these. And I will tell you, and even in my business, we've been trying to work with them. I mean, I understand. I mean, because it's actually affected us as well. I mean, I find that most of the time, if people have the means to pay it, they normally will. And we've never had one of those. We're not one of those collection agencies that call you 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day. We just don't do that because, but anyway, besides that, I just wanted to share a little bit of my knowledge with you about the collection industry and what you can do to hopefully survive it. But if you've got a choice between paying a bill or putting food on the table, don't sweat it. I mean, I'm telling you, if you don't pay it, they'll cancel your credit cards, but they're not going to do anything with it for 90 days. They're not even going to turn it over to collections for most of the time for 90 days. I'm dollars to donuts here. If they do turn you over to collections and it goes to your first tier collection agency that handles the new accounts for whatever credit card company, they're going to send you a settlement letter. And most of the time they'll settle it for half of what you owe. You can negotiate it down to half of what you owe. Now, it may be on your credit report. And if you do have a judgment against you, if it's gotten that far, and it wouldn't be because of the pandemic if you've already got a judgment against you, but if you do get a judgment against you, and later you get your finances together, I would advise you to get with an attorney in your area and look at the rules of civil procedure and do what's called an agreed order. Don't ever, ever, ever pay a judgment without doing an agreed order. I have never had a judge deny me the ability to do an agreed order for someone. And what that is that's when you, both of you sign it and agree that if you paid this amount, that the judgment will be dismissed with prejudice. And I do a lot of those in small claims, and the attorneys for us do a lot of it in the larger courts. Now, so what I'm trying to say is you need to get something out of it if you're going to settle a debt like that, especially if you have a judgment, because that judgment's going to follow you for 7 years. And if you do that agreed order then and get that judgment dismissed, and I've had judges, the judges around here, they don't care. They're pretty good about that. All you're doing is trying to help the debtor clean up their credit, and there's not a thing wrong with that. But don't get with your attorney and get him to draw up an agreed order and get the credit card company or whoever sued you and their counsel to sign off on it and dismiss that case. And that way you have a settlement and you have an agreed order that if this amount of money is paid, then it's settled and the case is dismissed. And that'll help you in the future. Trust me. Well, that is going to conclude today on the Chuck Graham Show. And I am pretty proud of myself that I'd only mentioned COVID like twice because I'm so irritated at it. But if you haven't subscribed, please do so and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys on the next show. And God bless. And stay safe.